about is all of us showing our appreciation for what he's had to go through individually, and expressing our affection for him. And I know our fans are going to be going crazy, and it's going to be emotional, and in a lot of ways it'll be very difficult game. Just trying to lock in and focus while something much bigger than the outcome of the game is actually happening. And that's the challenge for the group, is to try to focus amidst all this emotion.
I assume the starters are Clay at the 2 and then the other 4 normal.
Yes.
What do you, this is now your starting lineup. What do you like about that unit together?
Well, I'll tell you in a couple of weeks once we see it. In theory, we're adding Klay Thompson, so that's a pretty good start. But a lot of shooting and size that comes with that, and then you put all those guys together, and we've seen Draymond, Steph, and Loon all play with Klay very successfully, and vice versa. So there's a sense of comfort in that, even though it's been a long time since they've all played together.
Hey, Steve, good to see you. Before his injuries, it seemed like Klay was unfazed of any pressure-packed moment. Beyond his skill set, what qualities do you think he has that allows him to not be overwhelmed with those kind of emotional and pressure settings?
He just loves the game so much, and he's able to just play and go and immerse himself in the game and do so even in the most pressurized environments. Tonight might be the most difficult game he plays in, and it's so different from a playoff game and a game that comes at the end of a long season where you've been playing every single night. 941 days with all that frustration built in, and all that disappointment and all built in over time. And so it's going to be, as I said, it'll be incredibly emotional for the rest of us. So imagine what it'll be like for Klay.
Coach, in the fabric of the history of this franchise, it's always been those 3 guys, Draymond, Steph, and Klay. What does it mean to you to get those 3 back together? And I guess they've also kind of lost some key time, even in the midst of all the championships with Klay's injury. Yeah,
it's pretty special. This will, whatever happens, regardless of the outcome, this will be a game I'll remember my whole life, just because of what Klay has done for our franchise, and what he's done for me, what he's done for his teammates, how much they all mean to each other. You could throw Andre into that mix, Loon as well. It's pretty special to as a coach to see those relationships form over the years, and so to see them all back together again tonight will be really special.
To follow up on the lineup question, we've talked at times the last couple of weeks about the impact of Klay's return. What kind of ripple effect, how much time did you and Mike or whoever have to sit down and sort of figure out how you reorganize the rotation now with Klay back?
Well, we've been blessed with a really deep roster this year. That has allowed us to win a lot of games on nights when we've been shorthanded. And the flip side of that is that when everybody is healthy, or when most of your team is healthy, guys are going to be left out. And that's the hard part. So not everybody's going to play, and there's going to be guys who are really good players who have proven themselves here and done a lot of great stuff for us who may not play. And that's part of it. And those discussions have happened, and everybody on this team is bought in and all in with what we're trying to accomplish, and they all understand that their time will come.
Is there a realistic maximum number of players you can keep in the rotation? 10, 11? I mean, how do you, or does it change game to game?
I don't think I've ever played more than 11 guys in a rotation, and even that is pushing it. But we've had 11 guys play this year on several occasions. So even in, if you want to do the math, you're going to see that there's some good players who won't get on the floor.
Steve, two for you, if I could. Hi, how are you? First, you mentioned that there's a familiarity with this group, and obviously Clay has been on the court a whole bunch, kind of ramping up to this moment. But aside from that history, and I know the nature of this season doesn't mean there's a whole lot of practice time, has this core starting group seen any practice time together recently?
We scrimmaged a little bit yesterday. We had a scrimmage a week and a half ago in Denver, although Draymond wasn't there.
Yep.
So there's been plenty of practice time, but very little scrimmage live action time.
And then this, hour and a half window now, the anticipation feeling that you have now, how has that differed from the anticipation feeling that we've had for a couple of days or weeks, knowing that this is coming?
It feels surreal, honestly, just having our coaches meeting, an hour and a half ago and actually talking about Clay. It felt great, but it felt strange, it's been so long. And I think the players felt it too in our walkthrough just now. And it was almost surreal. Just he's finally back. It's fine. The day's finally here. And we're all bouncing off the walls. And the hard part for sure is, as I talked about, being able to settle into the game and try to beat a really good team, amidst all of this emotion. So we'll see what happens.
Steve, you've said that the simplicity of Clay's game sort of makes it a little easier for your team to adjust to his addition. The last couple of days, yesterday after practice, you were kind of on the court with Clay. Today, went through a walkthrough, I presume. And just what are the little fine-tuning things you want to try and make sure that are, I guess, nailed down before the game starts tonight?
I don't really need to go over much of anything with Clay. We've had a couple of good discussions about his return and, basic stuff like playing time and maybe a couple of strategic things during the last week. We've gone over our out of bounds plays and, just making sure he's all set with our coverages and our terminology. And because, stuff has changed a little bit over the last 2.5 years. And until you're really in the thick of it, it's not all going to come naturally. So there will be a period of time here the next few weeks where Clay's adjusting and picking up on some things, and it's not going to all happen right away.
Steve, we've seen everybody show up to the arena today in a Klay Thompson jersey. Do you know where that idea originated? And where's your jersey?
Yeah. Players only. I don't know where. I heard that it was happening, but I don't know whose idea it was. I think it's great. Probably 5-minute runs, and we'll see what that means. In terms of when he's going in and all that. So it'll depend on how the game's going.
Steve, what do you say to Clay today?
Nothing today. We just had a team walkthrough, and I talked to the group a little bit about how emotional tonight will be. But as you can imagine, Clay's head has got to be spinning right now, and best thing is just to let it all happen. And as I said, we really want to win, obviously, and the post game will be a lot more fun if we can win the game. But the outcome of this game is really meaningless in the big picture of this is, Klay Thompson returning after 2.5 years, after 2 devastating injuries. and what he's going to mean to us the rest of the season and into the playoffs. All that stuff is monumental compared to the outcome of one game. But we'd really like to win. It would help the post-game scene quite a bit.
Steve, are you willing to share what the set number or the range that you're looking to play Clay tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's not exact, but he's not gonna play a huge number of minutes. I mean, we're gonna ease him into his role, and that'll build up over the next few weeks. But we'll be very conservative to start.
All right, let's go to this new form of technology that didn't exist the last time Clay played. Christos, go ahead.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Speaking about Clay's return, those 2.5 years and everything he had been through in those 2.5 years, how affect you personally, especially the non-basketball wise?
Raymond, did you?
Yeah, Christos, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah. You hear me, Coach?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Though everything he had been through, Clay Thompson, in those 2.5 years, how affect you personally?
How did it affect you, him being out 2.5 years?
Yeah, well, it's been devastating for all of us to watch Clay go through this. To see him struggle through it, and it's also been inspiring though to see him in the gym every single day working, and I think that's a big part of the story tonight. It's however many thousands, 18,000 people, and everybody in the building celebrating Clay's perseverance, his character, what he has meant to our franchise. So there's a lot of love in the building for Clay and a lot of empathy for what he's gone through.
Steve, what has it meant having Clay's brother, Mikey, and his friend Seth around a lot lately, just knowing how much they've meant to Clay throughout this entire process, being there with him every day?
Yeah, it's been great. Both guys have come in and scrimmaged at times with Clay, and Clay is really tight with his whole family, and Seth is one of his best friends. And so to have Mikey and Seth here pretty consistently, not just here in our facility, but, being around Clay in general, they've been a great source of support for him. So it's great that he has them. Thank you.